What's up? What's up? Let's talk about Fuji. Fuji. Sometimes you have to give contrast to something. Kind of like someone's been in jail for 20 years and they think like the once a month when they have meatloaf, that like meatloaf is the best thing in the world. We have to have things to contrast, to give contrast and definition to. In photography, as well as in metaphysics and hardcore philosophy, negative space, negative fill, what is said is as important as what is not said. And that which gives definition to something is not only presence but also absence. And in examining Fuji, now look at, I'm sitting right next to one of the most amazing cameras to roll out since the Nikon D3. The Nikon D3 set the world on fire. I mean, it's still the toughest damn camera, the D3, that's ever been made by anybody. Nobody else has come even close to the Nikon D3. Nobody. That camera today, it's like, oh, it's a whole 12 megapixel camera. That camera still sells like a son of a on eBay and other. You put up a Nikon D3 for sale, and it could be half dead and look like it's been through 3 wars, and people still bid on that damn camera. People that have sense anyway. Yeah, they get bid on really heavily. The Nikon D500. This is why you can't judge a camera based upon specification charts. The people that I generally don't agree with that know a lot about cameras, this is the one thing that they'll always they agree with me on it completely. Is you go down a spec chart, and the people actually talk about like, well, what's the ISO 100 on the Nikon D500 compared to the D7200? Yeah, and they'll say, well, and it is true that the Nikon D500, yeah, I know I'm about to talk about the Fuji in a second. The Nikon D500 does clip highlights about a half a stop quicker than most other Nikons, including the D7200. And people say, well, the dynamic range is a little bit better. The high ISO, not real high ISO, which the D500 is the winner on, but general high ISO 6400 whatever is better on the D7200. And people use that as a basis of rationalization for saying, well, therefore the Nikon D7200 is... I've never recommended the Nikon D7200. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Nikon D7200 is just it's the same sensor as the D7100. They changed the post-sensor signal processing so it has better high ISO performance. They gave it a better buffer, a little bit better autofocus tracking. That's all well and fine. The D500 will just burn its ass into the dirt. It'll just run circles around it and rip its head off and do a number 2 down the neck of the D7200. Comparing image sample to image sample, that's one thing, and we know that's important. But I mean, some of the best professional bird photographers in the world, are just like they're wetting themselves like a schoolgirl who's just gotten a kiss from Justin Bieber when it comes to the Nikon D500. The buffer, the low light autofocus tracking, the autofocus tracking in general, I mean, just the near bottomless buffer. It's incredible. I mean, it is just mind-blowing. I have, and some of these people that don't know me at all in some of the videos I do, they think I'm a Nikon fanboy. It's like I can reference you at least 50 videos where I've just, I've smacked Nikon up one side and down the other for some of the really stupid stuff that they do. Stupid, like one of the stupid things on the Nikon D500, and I don't give a damn about it, is that like unlike the D750 Nikon, where you can actually do Wi-Fi, full-blown raw files, Wi-Fi transfer to your computer, that even when the SnapBridge app comes out, that's not going to be available on the D500. That's why some German nut job is, and I knew about that from the get-go. You have to buy an $800 module that sits on the bottom of this thing that's as big as a vertical grip, and there might be 10 people in the world that have bought that damn thing. I think it was actually a power issue that they didn't include it with the camera. But I mean, $800 just so I can get Wi-Fi. Well, that was native in the Nikon D750. That could do full-blown, full file size, full raw files, Wi-Fi transfer to the computer. You know, stupid stuff like that, that burns people's ass up about Nikon. Regardless of that, the D500 is incredible. So why am I praising like that? And I've seen a lot of pictures recently, and I've done backwards engineering from the pictures, and I know that the Fuji XT-2, which is going to be announced, by the way, they've moved it to July the 7th, which is confirmed now. July 7th release announcement, but not release. Who knows when it's going to be available for sale? And the Fuji XT-2 is going to have dual card slots. It's going to be 6 millimeters thicker. The vertical grip on it is going to be fantastic. It's going to have some sort of neat speed booster in it with 2 additional batteries, so 3 batteries total. Wow, I mean, it has the potential of being one heavy-ass camera. This is not that heavy. But with a vertical grip and 2 batteries, I mean, you know, I never fell into the BS that mirrorless is a lighter system, because I know optics and lenses too well. I mean, a 200mm 2.8 is a 200mm 2.8 is a 200mm. You know, it doesn't matter what the hell it's a mirrorless system or not. A fast-ass, awesome lens is a big-ass hunk of heavy glass, and mirrorless is not lighter weight nor smaller than DSLRs. Well, this camera's smaller. Yeah, it is. You slap a big-ass lens on it. You know, you factor in the fact that you need more batteries. It's not a smaller camera. It's not really any lighter, just a hair lighter. Fuji has one advantage by being... Now, Fuji's got a lot of money. I mean, they're diversified like Nikon and Canon are into all sorts of technical and scientific crap. I know this. I'm not saying Fuji's small potatoes, but they are in the camera world. But that's changing hard and fast. I mean, the lenses that they're rolling out, they don't have a lot of lenses, but they've got quite a lot. You know, only a couple of them are not good, and only one of them I would almost call a dog, the 18mm Fuji lens. So what? There's no camera company that can't roll out a pile of lenses and one of them not be a dog. That's no fault against Fuji. I mean, I think Fuji has to prove themselves so hard and so fast that you know, you worry about Nikon rolling out a new camera. I never want to be the first guy on the block to buy a new camera. I did on the D500 just to test it, because 10 billion people asked me to test the D500. No issues, but I'm not worried about the Fuji XT-2, because I know that Fuji is not going to turn their customers into a pack of beta testers. You know, you're a sheep. Bah! I can't stand companies that turn their customers into beta testers. It's not going to be that way on the Fuji XT2. You know, can I see the future? No, but I know what Fuji's doing. Every little mistake that they make is far more detrimental to them than the same level of mistake made by Canon or Nikon. Nikon is a gigantic, fat, lumbering beast, right? Kind of like someone you're looking at right now. You know, get an arrow in the chest, it's like, ugh. You know, a little person like Fuji's a big company, but in the camera world, I mean, they can't afford to take an arrow in the chest. I was watching a Game of Thrones episode last night where one of those fighters is a gigantic beast, and it took like 60 arrows to finally bring it down, which is reminiscent of Nikon. You know, everybody else, you get one arrow and they're down, right? It's a giant beast. It like took 500 arrows, or 50 or 60 arrows, excuse me, to take the beast down. And that's what Nikon and Canon are like. You know, they don't give a crap if you're a beta tester on their camera and they have to fix it down the road. Fuji isn't going to do that. Fuji has a lot more to prove to their customers, and actually the amount of forethought that they place into their cameras is astonishing. They put so much forethought into their... I can easily say, without hyperbolic exaggeration, that Fuji places more forethought into their cameras than Canon, Nikon, and Sony combined. As far as thinking, rethinking, they asked the customers, Fuji should actually make me a beta tester. I mean, if Fuji wants a real beta tester to test cameras, I mean, go ahead and send me one. Not for free, I mean, just to test. Fuji is doing all the right stuff. Fuji is following the model that nobody else is following anymore, and that is the old carpenter's motto of measure twice, cut once. Nikon and Canon, especially Nikon lately, I mean, they've just been like putting on the blindfolds and cutting. You know, the tape measure's collecting dust. They're not even measuring anything. Just like cut, 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 cut. You know, like, whoops, we'll fix it later. Whoops. They're just buzzsawing down the road. It's like whatever sort of big mistakes they make, they'll fix it down the road. They've got so much cash, and a lot of companies operate that way, and it's a big mistake. So even though the Nikon D500 is an incredible winner, I got two of them for God's sakes. You were like, what the hell are you doing with two Nikon D500s? Love the hell out of Nikon. Nikon makes way too many mistakes, however. Despite the D500 being, and it will be, a legendary camera, I was right on everything I said on the D500. People are buying it in droves. You know, regardless of that fact, what Fuji's going to roll out on the XT2 will be amazing. And Fuji's doing all the right stuff. Yeah, I know that's the name of a movie. So, thanks for watching, and I just want to give you my thoughts on Fuji and what they're doing. And the XT2 announcement date has been moved to July the 7th. It's been set in stone because they booked some hotel or something where they're going to announce the introduction of the XT2. And XT1 prices, too, have fallen into the basement on new ones. So, I mean, that's all further indication that they're about to roll out the XT2. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.